The entire month of May, and especially around the time of the full moon, is a profound time of reconnection with the higher self in a very grounded and noticeable and real way. Number one, I wrote down very boldly, the biggest gateway ever. Right now, we are in smack dab in the middle of the most powerful, life-altering, life-transforming, soul-shifting, transformational energy gateway that this planet has ever seen. This is like by far, hands down, this is the big one. This is huge, okay? And we are in the middle of that. So what does that really mean? What does that really imply? Well, we're already seeing the implications ripple out into the collective. I don't feel inspired at this time to go into that. What I want to address is what's happening with the individual. There is a huge, just unspeakable opportunity to, at a faster rate than ever before, solidify your positive intentions for a better life, a new way of living, more happiness, more joy, more abundance, more spiritual connection, etc. And a lot of us right now might feel at a crossroads, like a fork in the road. And there's going to be a part of you that is concerned and is afraid to listen to your intuition, to go forth with what you know in your heart and intuition is the best move for you, because it's just so unfamiliar, because this gateway is so powerful. It can literally just like take you very far, very quickly. But from where we're standing now, it seems like, I don't know, unrealistic. And there's another part of you that is like telling you to go for it, saying, this is the time. You can handle this. You've worked your whole journey has led you to this point. You're not just this life, your whole soul's journey has led you here to this point. This is what this whole thing's been building for right now. There has never been a more important time, quite frankly, to listen to your heart, to listen to your intuition. Because the choices you make now are gonna become more solid, okay? It's like right now we're all at the station, and there's a bunch of different trains going in all these different directions. There's the train of ego taking you into familiarity and comfort and security. But there's unconsciousness there. There are soul lessons there. There's another train that's saying, hey, this is like the train of the spirit. It's like this is where it's smart to go at this time, and into the high vibe, the spiritual connectedness, the fulfilling career, all the things you want, it's on this train. But there's this, the ego train is way more appealing because it's so familiar. Okay, I know this train. I've been on this train for a long time, and I don't have to really worry. I can just sort of like, I don't have to think about anything. It's all sort of laid out for me. But now is the time to literally let that train go and jump onto this other train, because the trains are finally, they were once side by side. And for a long time, we've all been kind of hopping back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Well, now the trains are finally leaving the station, and they're coming out of the gates going very, very quickly. So the choices you make now, it's important to make heart-centered choices, to go in the direction of energies that feel light, that feel appropriate. The decision is obvious. You all know what to do, but I'm saying right here, right now is the time to ground in to the choices that will lead you to the reality that you really know is in your best interest. Number two, reconnecting with the soul, with the higher self, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video. This reminds me of a really awesome rock song that I personally dig. It's called Disillusioned by a band called The Perfect Circle. And the whole premise is how our society has become so addicted to this synthetic reality, and we are attached to it with all these little things that trigger dopamine. My point is, a lot of us right now here on lockdown, a lot of us aren't feeling good. A lot of us are feeling kind of depressed, anxious, scattered, ungrounded, tired. Even though we're not doing anything, we're not going to work, and we feel just tired. It's because we're all very disillusioned. Me too. We're all very, very, very disconnected from the natural way of living. I'm not saying go move into a tent and quit your job and don't ever shave again. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying right now is such a crucial time to really hear the blatant signs your spirit's been giving you the whole time. But if we don't choose to reconnect with our truth, with our grounded self, then it can be very difficult to hear. Even though your intuition, it's because we're more tapped in than ever before. Even if we do a little bit of something to kind of ground us back in, and I'll tell you some things I'm doing in a minute here. It'll be like night and day. You'll just feel it. You'll feel your vitality will just go through the roof. You'll have your energy. You'll have your clarity. Your optimism will be almost like you're almost like you're being naive, but you're not. You're just so tapped into your truth, so grounded in your real potential. You're seeing things more clear than ever. But right now, ironically, even though that's the potential, it's more challenging. There are more obstacles than ever before, literally, to get there. A lot of us are just, we're stuck to our TVs and our computers and our smartphones. And you can probably feel it, and you can feel your energy body saying, what are you doing to me? It's like it's a dissonance these things create. And I work online. I'm not saying get your computer, but at the time to go out into nature, it is something like that. What I'm doing right now, literally, I'm standing on this earthing mat. I'm a huge fan of earthing as of this morning. It's awesome. That's something you can look into. Walking around barefoot on the flat earth. It's amazing. Another thing I've been doing, and usually by the end of the day, like 4 or 5 o'clock, I'm tired. I've worked a little bit. I have 3 kids. They're at the house right now. We're kind of stuck inside, and it's draining. But even though I'm tired, I take the whole family out to the Red Rock Mountains, and we bike around. And since making myself do that for like an hour or so, my sleep quality's been better. I feel just way more connected to my inspiration, my creativity, and the important choices in my life are more obvious than they could possibly be. There's no question. So it's a very, very important time to do whatever works for you to get into your zone, to get into your center, and to tune out of this 3D trap that we're all kind of finding ourselves in right now. Number 3, you may find yourself inspired, or rather you might find like you should declutter aspects of your past. What I mean literally is that I just decluttered my closet as an example. It's just a closet. It's not that big of a deal. And I spent about 2 hours today and about an hour, yet 3 hours of solid work decluttering this closet. And a lot of the stuff I threw away, and I'm gonna recycle some of the things. And anyway, whenever I feel this feeling like you gotta declutter, you gotta clean the energy in your home, in your life, it's not just about cleaning the closet to free up space. It really isn't. It's cleaning the closet to free up space in my mind, in my consciousness. Clutter in our lives is a direct physical manifestation to the clutter of our consciousness. And it works kind of both ways. If we declutter our external life, you'll feel liberated. You'll feel more free. You'll feel more light. You'll feel more tuned in. You just feel lighter, like you're flying higher in this higher vibration, no longer weighed down by all the clutter. So if there's something in your house, in your life that is cluttered up with that stale energy, I just dare you to suck it up and deal with it. It wasn't fun for me. I'm such an unorganized person. It wasn't fun. Actually, it wasn't that bad. I listened to my Dolores Cannon. It wasn't that bad. But anyway, it was a chore in a sense, right? But it will make a profound difference, because the more of that kind of stuff, the remnants, these manifestations of the old you can let go of. This time there is so energetically charged that there's the new aspects, new opportunities, new everything can just start spilling in very, very rapidly. And I really believe if you just try this, you'll notice it immediately. Number 4, and you might notice this more we get towards the peak of the full moon than right now. I'm filming this video about a week out. But we're diving in now to what I'll call, and I've called it before, the root ball of root ball type emotions. What I mean by that is, if you imagine a plant, right? And you have the stalk and all the different roots. And a plant is very, very hardy. You can chop away a lot of the roots, and even though it's not good for the plant, it'll be okay. But there's something called the root ball, where all the roots kind of stem from. It's like a very dense compilation, if you will, of roots. And we all have this like root ball, this root wound, this root trauma. That might not be some kind of obvious pain trauma, but there's this root of unconsciousness, very, very deep, very, very solid. And this root ball emotion that's causing us to even consider drifting into this other path that's not ideal for us. And you might find yourself at this point really warming up to the idea, if you already haven't decided, to go for it. To go, whatever that means for you, to go for it. I know it's right. I'm not just thinking about it. I'm doing it. And you might start to get this sense that there's a root ball that's making it hard to go for it, making it hard to not, as Napoleon Hill calls, to drift back asleep, drift back into unconsciousness. And because we're just becoming so aware, and because of the energy right now, even though this thing's been so deep and so unconscious and sort of running a lot of our life and our cycles that are painful, it's been like the culprit. There's enough awareness there now where you start to get this sense like there's something here. And your intuition, your synchronicity might start to kind of point towards that. Like for me, as an example, I see this synchronicity of a star. Cool, a star, Vic, that's good. It's not good. I used to think it was good. A few years ago, I started seeing this when I was really making forward progress on YouTube. I'd see star. And I kept thinking like, wow, I'm gonna be a star, that kind of thing. And it doesn't mean that. It means it's almost like this dysfunction in me that feels he needs to be a star, that he needs to be popular, that he needs to be enough. And it leads me to putting a lot of energy into areas that are not really authentic to who I am. And I've been shown this very clearly recently. And this star thing, I know there's like unresolved stuff associated with that synchronicity that I'm now getting all the time. And I know it's time to really dive deep beneath the surface. No longer, for at least right now, it's not a time to say, well, why, there's like little surface things in our life, that are sort of a headache. It's not the time to concern about that. It's a time you might find yourself gravitating towards like, what is this thing in me causing me to drift, causing me to be unhappy, causing me to repeat cycles and patterns I don't prefer anymore. Because this time is so powerful, and we have not only the opportunity to get on this amazing train, but to snip, that's not the appropriate sound, snip that root ball and let it fall away and die away and burn away in that other train as we just smooth sailing into the sunset. But it might require some shadow work. Like I'm gonna be doing a plant medicine ceremony coming up here. It might require you doing something that really helps you get beneath your conscious mind. A lot of that deep stuff, that spiritual soul work, it's not essential. We can all do it, but it's helpful sometimes to do something that really, some kind of hypnosis or energy healing, something that helps you like go that deep. Okay, it's a great time to do that. And I'm not even suggesting it, but I'm saying if your higher self sort of presents it to you as an idea, I would go with it, because the timing is definitely appropriate where you have the opportunity to snip that root ball and let it go. Number 5, soul victory. All of this life has led you here. And there's such even though it doesn't look this way, there's such an overwhelming momentum of positivity, positive energy, light now on the planet, that you're going to find yourself one way or another getting on that better train. And in doing so, in committing to living that really authentic life, that life that just resonates with you, it's going to just feel amazing. It's going to be like once you really start grounding into this new train, going back to that analogy for the 4th time, you're going to find that opportunities and all these different like reflections of that choice are going to start spilling in. Things are just going to start happening in your life very naturally and very quickly that are like just examples of this wise choice to get on the right train. And it's gonna be felt as like a huge victory. Like, wow, some of you might feel like I've ascended, I've done it. It's that awesome, okay? But we're still in the process right now. That's why I'm making this video. It's still time to really ground in and really take action. Whatever you gotta do in your life to put yourself on this right train. Those of you who feel inspired to be a coach or a healer, sign up to coach, sign up to learn the trade, ground in to this new vibrational reality that's calling you. Your soul is calling you home. It's calling you away from the karma, away from these cycles you've been bound in for a lot longer than any of us care to admit. It's time to move on. And now is the time where you can do it for real. And as you do, you let yourself know you're doing it, okay? Like for example, me cleaning the closet. It seems so insignificant, but it wasn't to me. It really wasn't. And I was cleaning the closet and I saw this book, and it was from a friend, an old client actually, her name was Selby. She wrote this book. It's called Stay True. Really cool book. And I saw that book, and it was like a synchronicity to me. Like you are staying true. For a long time, I kind of like lost myself a little bit for about a year, where I had built up enough success and momentum online that my ego started to take credit for it and get kind of carried away with its own goals, its own plans. And it started to kind of take me off this other train, if you will. And it's been a lot of work for me to kind of let all that go and to ground into this new train. But as I've chosen to kind of live more of an authentic life from my heart, in consideration of all that are in my life, it's finally starting to kind of reflect to me, like you've done it, Vic. You've made this kind of shift, okay? And I just share that personal account because a lot of times that just mirrors what you're all going through. That's how I make these updates. I share what the themes I'm noticing in my own life. I feel a feeling in my body when those are to be shared, and this is one of those times. So even though I just talked about myself the last 2 minutes, hopefully some of you could have gotten something out of that. It really is a time to live an authentic life. And that might look a lot differently. Like for me, my idea of a dream life, it's changing quite a bit. It has a lot less to do with material abundance and real world success and notoriety, and more like how grateful can I be to be on earth living and breathing the air and spending time with cool people and my family. It's becoming more about like my priorities are shifting dramatically, okay? And anyway, you might find yourself going through this, and this might also help you get on that ideal train. It might be different than you thought you wanted. It might be more simple, more about day-to-day peace of mind and happiness and creative expression, just for the sake of being in that energy. So I wish you well this month, and I wish you well for this powerful full moon on May 7th. Hope you have an amazing day. And by the way, if you want to stay connected in between videos, I have a free Awakening newsletter I send out 3 to 4 times a week. It's totally free. You can check it out down below and sign up real easily if you want. And with that said, I'll be in touch. Goodbye.